Can you imagine just like assembling a chair at the start? It's all going well, you know. You're cutting out slits and stuff so that you can basically jam it all together and make this thing. And then by the end of it, you're like, yeah, I would burn a cock in the back.
Right. I love watching your faces expect me to do something. It's just brilliant. Like you expect me to talk and then you just don't.
I've got my Xbox on just like to my left, and I'm like, I might as well just start playing.
Xbox, record that.
Yeah,
shouting at it.
Grimworld in the meantime.
Ooh.
Having a great time playing that at the moment.
Me when I'm with your mum.
Hi, welcome to the Earth Sandwich Podcast. It's taken too long to introduce the thing, so I will instead.
Thank you.
It's been quite a little bit until we actually last recorded. Actually, when was the last time we recorded together? Like a week ago? Week and a bit ago? 10 days ago? Not too long, but it feels like it's been a while. A lot has happened in this time. Been very chill, done some uploads. James, are you good? You alright?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm good. It just really caught me off guard. No, I wasn't expecting it.
Beautiful. Before we, first of all, Charlie, good evening to you.
Thank you.
Oh God, yeah.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Yeah.
How are we?
Good afternoon to you, James.
And fuck you, James.
Basically. How are we, Charlie?
Jolly good. End pod.
I feel very well.
Doing good.
Good,
I'm
good.
doing good.
You did a
And yourself,
recent
James?
charity stream, no?
I did. Yes.
How'd that go?
For Pride Foundation. Well, for me personally, it wasn't.
did you have
that
to buy
effective.
the
I
hot
didn't
tub?
raise too much. Hey.
Pardon? Did you have to buy a hot tub or did you rent it for the stream?
Oh my God! I wish I could.
We leased it. It's fine.
I reckon we should do
it was
like a raise on this to get you like a little paddling pool, so you can sit in a paddling pool in your room.
Hey,
like...
100 episodes. Once we get 100
fully
current
clothed.
reviewers, wearing exactly what you're
with
wearing right now.
armbands on. Like...
I've got like a hoodie. I've got jeans on. I've got like a nice shirt, and I've just got armbands.
Yeah.
Still somehow drowning.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
But now, how was it? Well, what did it entail? What
Well,
did you do?
the thing was, so it was set up by an American company, and I don't think they really looked at the streamers when they were doing it. And I think they're still fairly new because they had people playing Rocket League, so it was a Rocket League tournament. But it was like Americans and Europeans, and then like me and another OCE person, and it was just like the ping is going to be shit here, so that was interesting.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was pretty good, but because it was America, so like the time zone for me was fucked. Like I had to get up at 5 a.m. to do it.
Yeah.
And I was up the night before prepping all the stuff that they wanted us to put on, like all the stream elements and shit. So I was doing that. So I got like no sleep at all. And we got up and did it, and it was fun. I mean, we raised about $450 in total, which was pretty good.
Golf
thank
clap.
you.
Golf clap.
Well done.
Yeah, I think I raised about 25 of that.
Still counts.
25 quid,
But
25 quid.
I was expecting not much though, because like my streaming time is like 2:30 in the afternoon, going on to like 7 or 8, right? So a random stream, even though I mentioned it at like a couple times in the weeks building up to it, it was like it's 5 in the morning.
Yeah, nobody's
right? So
getting
I had a
up
couple of
specifically.
people, I had a couple people in like different parts of the world who watched me, who were like watching watched the start of it. They watched like the first half hour, 45 minutes, and then had to go to bed, right? So I was like hitting the tail end of like the late night regulars and not getting any of the like morning regulars.
Normal,
so I knew that was going to happen, so I was expecting that, so it was okay. It was pretty fun.
Good to get in and collaborate with people though, isn't it?
Adds an experience. Say you've done that.
Exactly.
Now.
It was nice. It was good. So yeah, they were a bit optimistic. They set like a target of $3,000, and I was like, I don't think you're gonna get that. There's like 18 streamers.
Yeah. And
like everyone's about my size or like less. So I looked at a couple people's like Twitch streams. Some of them had like 700 followers, but a good chunk of them had like 100, 200, 300. It was like, we're not getting 3k here, mate.
I just looked that up, and
that's
that's at least £167 per person. if there's 18 people.
Yeah, see,
so that's expecting some people
that.
who have 100 followers, every single one of those followers, to come in and then donate £2.
I get an average of 10 people watching me at peak hours, right? So like, even if they all turn up, I'm still not going to get that.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
Unless you get one bloke who comes in and just drops a bomb on you, drops a bag.
Well, exactly. But I was pretty happy with what we ended up raising in the end. Like I said, about $450. So that was
really
okay.
good.
I was happy with that. That was better than I was expecting. I was like, if we get like 100, I'll be happy.
And who was it for?
Pride Foundation
lovely.
in America.
Lovely.
Okay. Right at the end of Pride Month.
Oh, very nice.
Yes.
Very
Love
nice.
that. We were actually wandering around Edinburgh the other day because Dad came out because we went to watch a Biffy Clyro gig, which was quality as they usually are. And we were wandering around and kind of just bumped into the Pride parade that we had no idea that was going on. So we were just like, sick,
don't act like you guys.
Let's just go on with this then. Let's just hang out for a bit. It was great fun.
What was that, Andy?
I said, don't act like you guys didn't orchestrate that. You guys, that was the plan all along.
We knew.
The Biffy Clyro was a cover. That was just the pre.
Why have you got all rainbow on James for Biffy Clyro?
I'm just like him. And I like colours.
Just like it. Do you think the flag is a bit much?
Yes.
And then it's got in Sharpie Biffy Clyro written across.
Yeah, really poorly in the top right, quite small.
Misspelt. Yeah.
It's very obvious it was an afterthought.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely.
That was good fun. That's about my life. Since we chatted last, I haven't really been up to much, but Andy's been doing fair few.
As you can tell by the change of decorum and the change, I am now on a different floor.
That's not.
Hold on.
That doesn't work.
That's not the right word.
I don't know.
You just added an M for some reason.
I've been sitting on a floor for the past 3 days. Not as nice of a floor as the one I sat on in our last episode.
But why?
Because I have moved.
You can't just say you've been sitting on a floor and not explain why.
So I've been sitting on a floor. Anyway, what should we talk about this episode? No,
I've been sitting on my furniture for no reason.
I've moved to the lovely town of London.
Yes.
Everything.
The quaint little town of London.
Where everything is fucking expensive, including the very room I sit in. And there is no furniture yet. I've been playing my Xbox on the floor, and the only thing I bought so far are bed sheets. Oh no, that's not true. I went to B&Q. What a place.
Big ups. Why didn't you go to Ikea out of question?
I went to Ikea today.
Ooh.
However, the problem with the Ikea is the Ikea was like 3 changes on the tube, whereas there is literally a B&Q like a 5-minute walk from me. So
okay.
Simple.
That makes things easier.
But my God, B&Q, right? If you ever need a bedside table, there you go. They've got these, and this is how I knew I was like, you know what, I'm not in my young 20s anymore, because I looked at this bedside table thing and I thought, oh, I'd love to build that. That'd be fun.
That's adult Lego. That is.
I was walking through a place called Harvey Norman over here, which has got loads of like bedside tables, barbecues, chairs, all the outdoorsy stuff, all the furniture sort of thing. And I was looking through, like, I'm in fucking heaven here.
Yeah, this is brilliant. This is
nuts.
we've been looking.
I know exactly what you mean.
We've been looking for a chair for the kitchen recently because we've only got 3 in there and one's busted. And I was sat there and I was like, you know what? Really fun to make a chair. Why don't I just make one rather than buying one?
Make a chair.
Yeah, just make a chair. That'd be good fun.
And that is, I had to battle with those with that at B&Q. I was like, I could buy, and in the end I bought like basically one of these pre-made not pre-made, like you have to make it, but it's basically just fancy Lego. It's real life adult Lego. Yeah.
Nice.
But I was like, I could just buy like 2 planks of wood. Oh, Mum's calling me.
I would fucking love to see you trying to build a chair from just wood.
Can you vlog it?
That'd be immense.
Because I was like, I could build a desk with just 3 bits of wood, couldn't I? And some nails. I don't need. I'm like, I could pay half the price. And then I was proposing this idea. I think it was to my dad, and he goes, "Yeah, I don't think you should do that, mate. I don't think you've got the."
I agree with your dad.
And he's like, "Did you buy sandpaper?" And I'm like, "Well, no, I'd have to buy that too." And he goes, "By the time you buy everything to make this, safe, it's going to be about as much as buying the bedside table would."
And then you'll sit on the chair once, it'll break.
Breaks. Or I sit on it and it's because it's just literally. two 90-degree angles of hard wood.
Constantly upright.
That would be fun to do though, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah.
Just have like a load of wood, load of tools, and just try and make chairs.
We should all get given the same materials and see who can make the best chair in 24 hours.
That would be good.
That'd be really fun.
No, we do it, but we're drunk.
Yes, but every hour you've got to take a shot.
That just sounds like a bad idea.
So you start sober, and then it gets.
Or one of us is drunk. One of us
is high, and one of us
doesn't
have hands.
Can you imagine just like assembling a chair at the start? It's all going well, you know. You're cutting out slits and stuff so that you can basically jam it all together and make this thing. And then by the end of it, you're like, yeah, I would burn a cock in the back.
You have the guy who's blacked out but does have the instructions. You have a guy who's got duct tape hands who does have the instructions. And then you've got you have to have someone who doesn't have.
I think you've got somebody who's high but has every other step.
Yeah.
What if you have like, you know, what's the thing? Keep talking and nobody explodes. You know that?
Yeah.
It's like that, but I have the instructions and I have to tell you guys what to do in building the chair. But I'm getting more and more drunk.
There's a divide between it. Charlie's getting really drunk on one side with the instructions, and we're the other side trying to build the chair.
That'd be brilliant.
That'd be immense.
So
we can only request. So you have to request like the certain tools,
certain ingredients,
whatever. It's the same thing. We're making a cake, but the cake's a table, and we request the ingredients by what we think they're called.
Yes.
Can I have the Allen screwdriver thing?
This is just not
just get a bloke.
I've got an instruction manual, and I'm not allowed to tell you exactly. Like,
you've got to describe it.
Try and describe it in my own words.
It's the cranky twisty thing.
Or we have to call it all by their ridiculous, like, IKEA names.
Yes, yeah. Like, pick up the Schlangenborg.
Pass the Copenhagen 5, and then put that next to the Schlangenborg.
Attach the Glark to the Humpendafen.
Yeah, because when I think Swedish names, I think Copenhagen.
Yeah, literally.
I went into IKEA today, and there was one of the things was literally called Paris, and it was like a really ugly looking £10 chair. And I thought,
well, there you go.
They've put.
That's why they've called it Paris.
One of the grossest things they have.
I think Paris is a bit overrated. I'll put it out there. I don't think Paris is that great.
I think. Honestly, it's also because we come from, like, we used to live not far from all of us from France for a big portion of our lives, and probably, I mean, I've been to Paris, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 times. Not
I haven't.
Have you not? I've been to
Paris.
I have.
You're like, I think it's shit.
I think it's shit. I've never been, but probably crap.
I think it's maybe I've not been to the right parts, but I also get that feeling where I'm like, this feels like it's slightly overrated.
It's really ratty, like in a sense that there's a lot of rats, not in a sense that the people are well, they're French. But... it's a joke. It's a joke.
Say un joke. So like,
I think it's
go on. I don't get why it's like, isn't it like the most touristy city in the entire world?
I don't know.
I have no idea, but it might be up there. I mean, it's got in terms of attractions, I mean, you got like Eiffel Tower,
the Louvre,
Arc de Triomphe, Louvre. You know, there's a lot of cool stuff there to go and look at.
Yeah. Did you know there's an actual not a condition, but there's a state of being which is based on, and it's called like. Damn, I can't remember exactly what it's called, but it's based off when people when people go and see the Eiffel Tower and they're really underwhelmed by it. It's such a massive thing. Have a look for it, see if you can find it. But it's like a real thing where like people from like Asian countries and like America that rarely visit kind of Europe will go to the Eiffel Tower and be so disappointed by it and underwhelmed that they'll be in like a physical
spend your entire time working in.
Is that what it's called?
Walmart.
It's called Paris Syndrome. French Syndrome de Paris. It's got Japanese for some reason. Paris Shokogun.
It's pronounced sushi. Actually.
Alright, cunt. It's a sense of disappointment exhibited by some individuals when visiting Paris who feel that the city was not what they had expected.
There you go.
So, does it apply widely to like?
Oh
so,
my
like, let's
god!
say
Okay,
if I,
so here we go. So there's a number of psychiatric symptoms such as acute delusional states, hallucinations, feelings of persecution, so like perceptions of being a victim of prejudice, aggression, and hostility from others, derealization, depersonalization, anxiety, and also psychosomatic manifestations such as dizziness, tachycardia, sweating, and others such as vomiting.
Fucking told you. Imagine some place being told it's so good, and then you go there and it's so bad that they have a fucking syndrome for it.
Can you imagine rocking up to the Eiffel Tower and just being like...
to be fair, you got to think, like, if you're like, I don't know, you work at like, you're making a minimum wage job, you save up like a year, you're like, you know what, I'm going to treat myself, long weekend in Paris. You go there, like, first time ever, you go there, you're like, I mean, once you've seen the Louvre and the Mona Lisa and, you know, that you can do that all in like half a day, and then you're like, it's just kind of a bit of a normal shitty city.
Yeah, there's just.
I think
it's just really crowded, quite dirty, like.
Yeah.
It might be the cynical part of me, but it's like it's that kind of thing where it's like when I went to the Eiffel Tower, it's like you see it and you're like, exactly what it looks like in the pictures. Yeah.
Sick. Somebody in the corner of the room, like in the corner of the area, just goes, "Did you know it's like taller in the summer?" Because that's the only fact anyone knows about the Eiffel Tower.
Well, it's like you're looking up at it, and then you get some bloke trying to get you to fill out a fucking survey or something. You know, it's always these people who are just trying to skive cash off you at the bottom. It's always like scam artists and shit around the bottom, and they're everywhere as well.
And I think it's also because it's like
yeah.
the city of love. It's this big romantic place because the food's really nice.
Do you know
and
what it
fair
is?
enough, food is great,
it's
but
that Parisians
great,
and I guess France in general really good at marketing. They're you know, it's been sold as, you know, the most romantic.
They sold us with
Venice,
tall towers and bushy vaginas.
And that is what you said when you tapped your ticket in Gatwick Airport. I'm here for the bush.
I'm here for the bushy vaginas.
Also, just going back to this Paris syndrome thing, so I was reading a bit more because there's a history tab, and you know I've got to click that, right?
You gotta.
So this is why the Japanese name is there. It's because it was a Japanese psychiatrist who coined the term in the 1980s, right? So the BBC reported in 2006 the Japanese embassy in Paris had a 24-hour hotline for those suffering from severe culture shock.
Wait, is that slightly different? Is that because French culture is so different to Japanese, or because they think it's so shit?
Because there's specifically the Eiffel Tower. I think what it seems like is there's been quite a few Japanese tourists who've gone to Paris, had like this syndrome thing, and then just like lost it. Basically.
Fair. Yeah. If you think about it, that kind of makes sense because Japan's already kind of a cool place.
Of a Japanese patient who had manic depression who experienced Paris syndrome. This is quite a bad thing.
Now, just imagine that though. Like you take the whole family.
All the kids are puking, looking at the Eiffel Tower.
And if you're not puking, like your life is like changed.
There's one kid who's like, "This is what I expected."
Yeah, the one kid is like, "Yeah, it's just
tall tower, isn't it?"
Yeah, we got loads of those.
We've actually got a replica in Tokyo that's bigger than it.
Yeah,
it's just bizarre. I wonder why that is.
Yeah.
It must be just
because it's
Japan's
shit.
So different to Paris.
Also,
it's labelled as being amazing, but it's not amazing.
Shop, James is like,
fuck the Paris tourist board.
But it is true. I wonder. Wait, that's a good question. What city have you been to, or like a place, town, somewhere famous you've been to, and you thought it's not really?
London.
I thought this might be cooler. London.
Amsterdam.
Ooh, that's not bad actually.
That's slightly delayed, and probably Andy can maybe back this up because you went to Amsterdam because you went massively off on a tangent compared to your recent holidays and stuff, right? Which is what we started talking about.
Very true, yeah.
And we should circle back to that. But after travelling throughout the Netherlands, Amsterdam is shit. If you go anywhere else in the Netherlands, it's like Amsterdam but better.
Is it because it's like? Is it because it's like? Oh, I can't think what it's commercialized. So you've got a lot of tourism there. Because I think the same with probably Paris compared to other cities it's probably more pushed towards tourists, and then same with London. Like you've got London is so pushed towards tourists. Like you've got like all the big streets and all the kind of circus attractions and everything like that. Yeah. Whereas if you go to somewhere like fucking I don't know,
Brighton.
Yeah, Brighton, like nicer and less kind of commercialized and that kind of thing.
I think it is that sort of thing. I don't really know why. I mean, Amsterdam's still cool, but it's compared to like a lot of the other places there, it's not that good, like at all.
Interesting.
Really.
What do you reckon, Andy? Because you were there recently.
I was there a week ago or whatever, and I enjoyed it. This was my first time going as like a adult with my dad and brother. We went cycling though, so we didn't actually really like see the centre of Amsterdam except for like literally one day maybe. We were only in central Amsterdam for a day, and one thing that was fascinating is like it was obviously everyone there speaks English, which is such a thing that I love. I love how we literally, like my dad, he's like at the beginning of the trip, he's like he looked up like some phrases like please, hello, thank you, and then by the last day he was like, what's the Heineken please, and the guy's like, no problems, I'll get a Bruges. And we're not even trying to be polite and say thank you even in Dutch. But one thing that was interesting is in at least Amsterdam Central, basically if you just like listen to the people around you, like only like half the people were actually Dutch, like or speaking Dutch.
Well, that's the same with every capital. Like up here, I hear Scottish accents maybe 75% of the time, and even then they're not like Borders and Glaswegian, which are like Scottish accents. They're like quite light and almost English and just playful kind of thing. And other than that, you just get like a lot of English, a lot of Irish, a lot of Welsh, that kind of thing. So
it's a big mixture. But that, because I suppose one thing that kind of echoing what Charlie said is because we cycled to like bits kind of in like outer Amsterdam area, and we went somewhere like where it was really nice, like a small little town, but like there were no tourists there because like fucking idiots would cycle there, and it was in a way it was quite refreshing because like we had one experience where a waitress didn't speak English, and we were like, oh.
Oh, that's crazy. How do I get a drink?
Is it like a remote? Was it like a remote town sort of thing, or was it?
Yeah, it was a place called Marken. It's like a little fishing village, about
that's pretty cool.
An hour and a half cycle north of central Amsterdam.
Cool.
But it was quite refreshing because it was like, oh, this is like, this is actually how normal people are here. It's not like, and that's another thing. A lot of the people working in definitely the touristy areas, it's the same with every capital city. They're not even, half of them aren't even Dutch.
No. Like,
I was served by more Australians than I was by Dutch people. Genuinely.
I think it is that kind of thing, though, where they do, like... Well, it's the same in most countries, but, like, the Dutch do appreciate if you try and speak Dutch. But, like, but then it's, like... Because I think it's, like, above 90% the amount of people who speak English there. Like, fluently. Oh. So it's, like, if you go somewhere and you're, like... You start the conversation in Dutch, and they'll respond to you, and then you can go, sorry, I don't understand that. And it's just like, okay, and then you switch to English. So it's actually, I think, pretty, like, good for learning Dutch, because you can sort of pick it up as you go along. And if you cock up, you're not completely stuck, unless you go where you went, in which case you might have trouble.
And I only learned one word the entire trip, and that was slag room. Does anyone want to take a guess as to what slag room means?
No.
I'll give you a clue. You'll see it on a menu. Slag
that
room.
Type of menu.
Maybe. You probably would see it on that type of menu.
I reckon slag room is a bitter. Like a bitter beer.
Type of drink. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Yeah. Charlie?
I don't actually
As
know.
the man who has spent the most time in the Netherlands out of us three.
Not a fucking clue.
It means extras.
Oh.
At an ice cream place, they said, "Do you want slag room?" And by that they meant.
And you looked her in the eye and said.
I looked her and went. If you already know the.
No.
Yeah. And you said, like, excuse me, I'm here with my father.
So of course, but
the words which I can remember is like stuff like cheeses kaas, which is pretty easy.
Shopping trolley.
Like Winkelwagen. He is.
Some crazy words. It is. We've even already talked about this on the podcast.
Spank me, daddy.
But the word, the one
ridiculous.
which I really liked was lekker, Lekker, which it means tasty. And they were like, "Oh, you can also use that for a woman as well." I'm just like, "Yeah, we do that as well."
He's like, "Yeah, I do that now. I take that back to Australia with me."
Yeah,
oh, she is lekker. Excuse me, mate. What?
Excuse me, sir.
Excuse you.
Well, I'll be able to test this out because I've go on holiday in 2 days. Going to Marseille, Milan, Zagreb, and Budapest. So I'll be able to test out this theory of speaky, different languagey in capital places and other places.
You're like, I got beat up everywhere I went.
I'm going to say that to people as well. I'm going to walk up to them and be like, speaky.
Slap.
It was funny to me, like, because I didn't know Andy was anywhere near the Netherlands, right? But I think, what was it? It's just like a message. I need to find the exact message, but it's basically just like, "What you doing? Like, are you up for a Discord or something?" And he was like, "Nah, I'm on holiday. I'm in Amsterdam." I was like, "Oh, cool. Like, like whereabouts are you? Like, I can send you some shit." And he sent me his map location. I'm like, "I don't know where you are, but I'm not in Amsterdam." It's just like,
I don't know.
What was it?
I was in a place called Leiden, I think. Leiden? I don't know where that is.
Leiden.
It was like
Leiden. Yeah, he was in Leiden.
Is that where this is
of Amsterdam.
Such like a sub-thought, but is that where Lederhosen comes from? Different country.
Probably not.
Maybe. I don't know.
But
Probably not.
I don't know.
We'll see.
Maybe. I was nowhere near Amsterdam as it transpired.
I was like, go to this ice bar, go to this pub. Like, these are the places I used to go. And I'm just like, you're not there. Like, where are you?
Because we had been to Rotterdam that same day, and we went to Leiden, which was closer to Amsterdam than Rotterdam. So in my head, I was like, we're back in Amsterdam. So
it wasn't that much closer, but I do get it, because the Netherlands is a tiny country, though. Like, it is a very small country.
And I feel like people view the Netherlands as just Amsterdam.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how I view it. Oh my god, these flies. But
my favourite message from Andy, though, because I found it now. He did put lol, I forgot the town name. But then there's the message which was great, where he said, "Fuck me, it's properly flat here."
It really is.
It's great,
like,
isn't it? No.
It's not a joke how flat it is.
No, yeah.
Like, it's
actually insane.
Flat.
Yeah. That's why you got to get a lot of like sprint cyclists that come from the Netherlands, because they can train everywhere, because it's just mill pond.
Yeah.
The entire country.
Yeah. It was wild. Like, you land in the airport, and just as you're coming to land, when you're only like maybe like 1,000 feet off the floor, you can see like for probably, I don't know, 100 miles. Like, you can see almost all of the Netherlands basically if it was a clear day. And I was like, wow, this is a fucking crazy,
but it's
weird.
It's weird though, because like it's one of those things about Europe, right? Where it's like, oh, do you wanna pop down to Luxembourg for the weekend? Just like, oh, how far is that? It's like about an hour and a half. It's just like, okay.
Like, oh, cool, yeah. Like, it's only because we've got to fly to get to these places that it seems so untouchable, and it seems so far away. Whereas people who are in like Barcelona could just be like, oh, do you want to, swing over to Marseille or swing up to Milan, like 6 hours.
Yeah. Like if you're basically the type of media we would interact with on like American, British, Australian / New Zealand, all of those places you've got to fly somewhere. Yeah. Except for England, you can get the Eurostar, but still the same idea of it's not literally just next door. And I've actually got I've got beef with the Netherlands. I've got beef. Sorry, I cut you off there, James. Do you want to say your point before I get into this?
No, go ahead. Go explain your beef. So first, I've attacked Paris, and now you will attack the Netherlands. Charlie, rattle something up for a country you don't like, and then
this is actually, it's less of an attack and more of just an observation
of how shit something
is. Charlie will back me up on this, as probably will James. They do not know how to drink.
Yeah, I don't stand with this guy.
They do not know how to drink in the Netherlands. They are so fried.
Yeah, that's true.
They are weak. Amount of times first of all, thing I take massive offence to, most of these touristy places, or like these places that we went to, like cafes, restaurants, even some like fairly kind of like bar-ish looking places, the only beer / cider they'll serve is Heineken, and then maybe a local beer, and that's it. It's
the difference between domestic and imported prices. So all their beers and things like within like continental Europe, if they're imported, they cost, you know, almost like half the amount more. Whereas in the UK, we don't have domestic and imported differences between prices.
Yeah.
Often you'll find that the craft ones, the local ones, are more expensive. Whereas for them, the domestic ones are less expensive because of import cost.
Yeah, so basically the only, which, I mean, that does make sense. But on a practical, real basis, a person going to a pub basically has Heineken, which I didn't even realise was Dutch until this trip, Heineken and Amstel.
Amstel, though.
Amstel's nice.
They're nice. They are nice, but they're the only two options.
Did you find Heineken was better?
I dislike beers in general,
Amstel,
and will only drink them if it's the only option available. But yes, Heineken, like I could drink a Heineken. Like I could have a whole night out drinking the Dutch Heineken.
A lot better.
Maybe it's the island effect with Guinness.
It's close to the source.
Yeah, maybe it's that effect like with Guinness in Ireland, where it's just because it's brewed there and because it's less travel time and probably kegged that day or something. And yeah,
it was nice. It was. I'll give them that. And also the fact that the default order size in the Netherlands is a fucking half pint. Not even that.
It is.
It's not even. I don't know if you realise this, Charlie, or if I went to just the wrong places. It's not even a half pint. It's 250 mils, which is slightly less than a half a pint. What?
That didn't annoy me so much as
by two,
much as it was like. Well, it's slightly less than a half pint, but it costs the same as a pint.
Yeah. Because it's like,
was
€5.
I was like, look, if you're serving half pints, fine, whatever. It doesn't really matter. A lot of places in Europe do that. But when it costs the same as a pint and it's not quite a half pint, that's a bit annoying. I mean, I guess that's... I don't know.
Then also, you look like a weirdo if they're like, do you want a small or a large? And I say, well... Because in my head, I'm thinking large, like a 2-pinter. And I'm like, I don't really want to... I need to cycle 50 kilometres. I don't think I should be having 2 pints in the boiling heat.
Yeah, like they're going to give you like a tankard.
Yeah, I thought I'd give it like a full stein, like that kind of deal. It's like, no, fine, just a small, and they hand you something which actually looks like it could be on like
give you a shot glass that they pissed in.
Oh my god, that was another thing. Tap water, barely a thing there. It's like, maybe again, this might be just a general European thing. I don't know if I've got a very Anglo-American view of tap water, but basically like nowhere gave tap water, and if they did, it was in the fucking smallest glasses ever. One literally gave, you know, like a 500ml bottle. It was like a glass bottle with tap water in it, and they gave you, picture like a shot glass, double the size of the shot glass, and that's how big they gave you. And I was like,
this has really annoyed you, hasn't it?
It really did.
This has really put you on edge.
No, because what happens is you know,
stop your privilege of showing. No,
because I'm cycling all day and I'm knackered. I don't do any exercise at all anyway. So when I start to do exercise, I want water, and then I've got to be that cunt that asks for 10 waters.
He's gonna kick off in a minute. I just wanted water.
I think if you're in like a standard, like, I guess, restaurant setting, if you're going out to eat, or if you're going out for like a bite to eat or something, even if it's not a restaurant, even if you're just like stopping for a snack somewhere, I think that doesn't really matter too much. I think it only mattered to you because you really needed water because you've been cycling all day.
Yeah, obviously.
I think that's probably the only reason.
I think it's a you problem. That's what we're saying.
It is a me problem, but I made it a them problem when I had to send the poor
by being British.
5 times. No, because one time we asked for tap water and they gave us this pipette full of tap water, and I was like, and then
one drip every time you need it.
And my dad, who was like more out of it than me, just went, yeah, can you bring us 10 of those? And they went, ha 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 ha, and none of us laughed. We were just like
sweating.
Like no humour was being had. We were like, yes, 10 please. Like, oh, okay, should I just bring you a jug? And then my brother's like, yeah, it might be a good idea. Wish
we'd thought that before.
Yes, that's a good one. Yeah, that was my only.
Maybe that's based on,
Yeah.
because aren't places that have canals and canal systems, doesn't that contaminate their water quite heavily? So they've got to like
Does it?
get it from, not outsource it, but they've got to get it from elsewhere.
Idea.
Something along those lines.
Do you know what? That feels like some bullshit thing of we're gonna make you buy bottles of water.
Yeah, from
for this
elsewhere,
reason.
yeah. Well, but that's why London water tastes like shit as well. Also, I found a fun fact about New York water the other day. Water in New York isn't vegan.
I'll get back to
I'll
water
say.
facts. The podcast.
Explain.
Did you know that tap water in New York isn't vegan?
Why? What is
Okay,
it?
how?
What's
Because
in
there
it?
were contaminants in, so many like contaminants in the water that the State Department put small little shrimpy things into the water to eat all of that contaminants. But now there's these organisms in the tap water. Again, look it up if you want, but I was all over these water facts the other day.
Hey,
It
it's
just
important
sounds like
to
you
know.
found a water conspiracy website.
Mad. Right.
No, that sounds disgusting. I kind of
Yeah,
want to
doesn't
try
it?
it now. I want to go take
What
a
was-
sample a bunch of tap water.
If we're going to avoid shitting on the Netherlands for 5 seconds, what was the scenery like and stuff like that? 'Cause I
Shit.
imagine
Oh,
it would have been
really
amazing.
nice. It was really
Shit.
nice.
It's all shit.
It's all flat as hell.
It was beautiful. However, I learned
Yeah.
a cardinal lesson of doing exercise-based holidays.
Okay.
Don't do too much, because then the holiday just becomes you fighting to do it. Like I was cycling. There was this like beautiful field with like windmills that were like looked hundreds of years old. Looked
That's
amazing.
cool. That's cool.
But the entire time I was literally just like this, like trying to cycle, because I'm like, all right, okay, we've only got like 4 miles left. I can do it, and I'm not sucking in any scenery, and I'm just boiling, and like the only like bit of water, the shot's worth of water that I managed to steal from the pub, like I've poured on myself. It also didn't help that it was like 32 degrees on one of the days.
Oh.
But it was nice though. It was really nice. It was amazing. It was aside from the fact that it was quite expensive, I think overall it was definitely like I'd go there. Like I said to Charlie and my brother and stuff, I was like, I'd definitely move there.
Oh,
Like,
absolutely,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Seemed amazing.
I'm still thinking about it.
Yeah,
like,
that like area of the world is just stunning. Like
think
kind of
my favourite,
like Charlie's lived
like-
in Amsterdam obviously, and then I really want to
Yeah.
live in Copenhagen at some point. Like that kind of like Northern European Nordic kind of just gorgeous.
Yeah, it was really nice. Yeah, it was dope. It was dope. Yeah.
I think
What
it's
were you s-
like I think my favorite like because you're saying it's like really hot. I think the best time in the Netherlands for me personally is when it's just going towards winter, but it's not quite winter. So it's like cold, but it's not fucking raining sleet down. It's
Yeah.
just chilly.
Well,
I think that's like the best.
When we
I think,
visited
in
you, it
Amsterdam,
was
at
like I
least.
think it was like November, and even then, you know,
Yeah.
you're walking around in t-shirts, and it's nice, but it wasn't raining at
I don't
all.
know
It was
about
kind of like a
t-shirts.
nice
We
weather.
did have-
like
we did have
we had
coats
like
on.
yeah,
We
like
did have coats
jumpers,
on.
but still, like it's like a nice. You're walking all day, and you're not overheating, that kind of thing. So
Yeah.
good level.
Yeah, it was cool.
Very good
It was
level
very cool.
indeed. Yeah.
Also, sorry, one more gripe about the Netherlands.
Jesus, did you enjoy
this is-
this holiday?
I loved it. It was one of my favourite holidays ever. Shithole Airport, as I so affectionately called it.
Ooh, I would
Oh,
disagree.
Schiphol. Schiphol.
I-
No, he was calling it that name because it sounds similar
Oh,
to Schiphol.
right.
Because it sounds
Schiphol,
like
that's why.
Schiphol. It's actually quite a
Yeah.
nice airport.
I was going to say I
It's
quite
such-
enjoyed their airport.
It was actually quite a nice airport, but they had such an inefficient security system. Do you know in the Netherlands they don't like you're allowed to bring pretty much anything you want onto the plane, except for like guns and grenades, obviously. I brought like four. We had like 4 whole like mini things of Lynx, and like huge bottles of stuff, and like people. There was a guy ahead of me who literally had weed, or it looked like weed. I don't know if it was weed, but it looked like weed.
Depends if it's an internal flight or not, so I don't think they'd give a shit.
Yeah.
Well, but we were at the stage before you actually get on your plane, so like I don't know how they would discern.
He
if
may
it
have just
was
been
or it
going
wasn't.
south, so.
Yeah, and but it was wild because me and my dad were like, oh, because we bought all these bottles of water that we've been like trying to drink that day. That,
You
you
have
know,
an obsession today.
and we had to bin all of them, and we're like, because in England and America, like you can't take 500 ml bottles of, because they'll think I'm going to choke out the pilot with it or whatever. You can't take those on a flight. So we've all been like hard drilled into our head, like you can't have bottles of water. You can't
chug it all
containers.
before you go through security.
Yeah, so I'm like pissing myself in this queue. I'm like, the one time in the Netherlands I was full of water. I'm pissing myself and I bin this bottle and turns out I didn't even fucking need to.
This all sounds like it's just your problem. Like it's not actually a problem with the country itself. It's just
it was an amazing
you,
trip. I'd happily live there.
Andy went cycling,
got
really
thirsty,
tired and dehydrated, and then went home.
Yeah, it's exactly what
and
happened.
hated every minute of it.
No, I loved it, but hated it. No, it was amazing. It was beautiful.
Go on, sorry.
I was just imagining him like puffing and panting the entire time, complaining. Gets home. That was great. That I really enjoyed.
Yeah,
that.
I really enjoyed that holiday. It was great.
That's literally what me, my brother, and my dad all did. We were like,
Comes on here, vents it, calls it shit.
and then I'm like, it was amazing, though. It was great.
Would you love it, mate? I'd move there. It was amazing.
I would, yeah. It was
What a
really
place!
good.
What a place!
It was a beautiful place. It was, people were, of course. That was another thing. I felt so insecure. I'm like, fuck, people in England are ugly compared to these people.
Oh my god, yeah, the
People,
Dutch.
yeah, good looking race.
All
Race?
tall.
Nationality.
It is now. They're all tall, really beautiful looking. I'm like, fuck.
It's all. I swear, it's all like northern European. They're all just tall,
They're just
stunning.
perfect people.
Like,
Someone should do something about that.
I remember going to a party. It was like an end of year party, the workplace I was going to, and I walked in and I could just remember all I was doing was looking up. At everybody, and it was like I'm 5'11", 6 on Tinder. I'm 5'11", but so it's like I'm not exactly like tiny, but I feel tiny in this room because everyone else is like 6'4" and shit. So I'm literally walking around staring up at people, just like hello.
I got fully humbled the other day, so I went in to get a lumbar puncture done because I've been, I think I mentioned it. I was having like a headache
briefly,
thing, and then possibly like a brain hemorrhage and shit. So I went to get like a lumbar puncture done, and she took like my blood and then weighed me, and then she was like, right, now we'll get your height. In my head I'm like, please say 6 foot, please say 6 foot. And I stood up against it. She lowered it down and she goes, oh, just below 6 foot.
You're like, this. You should have just hit it with something like, in the morning you're actually slightly taller.
I was just so disappointed. I was like, oh, there's the official just below.
Yeah, if you were in the NBA, that would be your height. It would
be just below and then
something.
6 foot. She said it so pretentiously as well, like, ooh. Let
me guess, was she short as well?
She was about 4'9".
Yeah, of course. It's always the really tiny people that are like, What you got to do is, as a man who has lived his entire life being about 5'10"ish, knowing I've never never hit the heights of the 6 footness.
6 foot gang.
The 6 foot gang. You've just got to be like, someone asks you, how tall are you? Oh, I'm 5'8". Because then they're like, you're not 5'8".
You're way taller than 5'8".
You're way taller there. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, I'm basically 6 foot.
Yeah. Undersell yourself. That's the key, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It's also I don't know how your my experience as well, like Australian mates and mates from uni and stuff. I'm always like either in the middle or shorter end of all the people I hang out with.
Oh, see, I'm either middle or taller.
Yeah,
same actually.
Because if we think about our friendship group from back home, I think tallest is what, 6'4".
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah,
6'4", 6'3", and then you've got two people that are that height, and then us two, and then like Andy, then you, and then other people are shorter. So.
Yeah. I guess I've just been used to that, life, and then but then you have those beautiful moments where you're walking somewhere and you're like, wow, I'm the tallest person here. And I don't know why it makes me feel good, but it does.
I have almost at like football over here, like soccer. Just to clarify,
soccer.
Over here, because a lot of people who play like sport over here who are tall and stuff, they're all playing AFL. So like I'm like one of the biggest people on the pitch, and it's like it was like really weird. Like a game like a couple weeks ago, coming up for the corner, and someone's like, "Mark the big man." I'm like, "Okay, wait, he's pointing at me." Big man?
I am the big man.
It's like
I've never
like
been
going
a
on
big man.
like going on a trip to Japan.
Yeah.
Giant.
Post because I'm a short ass. I don't know why the fuck I'm
Literally,
being mad. Yeah.
I was always put front post or edge of the box. Just-
Yeah. It's that
Yeah, edge of the
position
box.
in soccer where they're just like, "Oh, you're fucking useless in the air. Just stand there and
Yeah.
pretty. Just stand there.
Or because
If it's
you-
shite, you can clear it."
Yeah, or because you're quick as well. Stick you on the edge of the box, so if the ball breaks, you can just peg it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think my favorite role in a corner is the guy who. So there's the guy taking the corner and the guy who like kind of pisses him off 10 feet away from it. Yeah, who kind of goes, oh, like he fakes as if he's gonna run at him before he takes it.
Oh.
That'd be mine. I'd love to do that. Because he never does anything as well. Like that.
No, that
like,
never puts anyone off.
Maybe literally
It's useless.
0.1% of the time that actually does something.
He knows that he's going to clear that person and then hit the front man on like the 6-yard box, and it's going to be cleared. So,
Oh, it's a beautiful role.
it really is, yeah.
So, what else has been going on? What else have you been
Well,
doing?
something that we discussed quite heavily on a previous episode has now come to close.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
ObiWan Kenobi.
It has.
ObiWan Kenobi has now come to pass.
It has.
Yes.
Thoughts as the series in a whole, and on episodes that we didn't completely rip apart last time.
I did.
So what?
I did see a post saying it's better if you binge all the episodes back to back to back, as opposed to waiting.
I imagine so,
a week
yeah.
for them, because it feels like more. They were saying it works better as like a big 4-hour movie rather than as a series.
That's probably
And
fair
I
enough,
think
yeah.
I can probably kind of get where they're coming from with that,
Yeah.
because like if you think about what happened in it, I don't know. I think part of it, I think, actually got strengthened by the end. Some of the points we complained about did get strengthened by the end, I think. As in like we almost have to go back on some of those points almost.
I think, but that's where it's like, this isn't a film. It plays better as a film because it has that arc of ooh, and then it peaks at the end. But it's not a film, so we can't review it as a film. We have to review it as a TV show, and therefore, still shit.
And not only that, not only do we have to critique it as a TV show, we have to critique it as it was presented.
Exactly.
It wasn't presented like it all came out at once, 6 episodes at once. It was a week by week.
I would just say I thought the last episode was great.
Absolutely.
I
It
thought
was.
it was good.
Yeah.
It was
I
great.
rated it.
I think I
Yeah.
messaged Charlie after
Lost 2,
I'd
actually.
watched it.
Lost 2.
You know what? Yeah, I'll be honest. Like the fifth one, it had its definite moments where it was like, okay, cool, very cool. And then the sixth, as it finished,
Just you watching
it was like,
alone.
yeah, cool, very cool. There was actually a moment in the fifth where I actively sat there and went, oh, fuck off. Like, but then in the sixth, there was also, you know, you had really lovely moments. There was the good send off, the fight scene, that everything we'd complained about previously happened, and
Yeah.
very cool fight and everything. So
It kind of sucks because I really want to see more fight scenes between Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor, because those two seem to have like, I don't know, they just seem to nail it for some reason.
It's a brilliant
I don't
chemistry.
know why.
yeah,
They really do.
I think it's just
and
because they
it's a shame
played
because the
against each
characters
other
don't
for
work
so
for that
long,
film.
haven't they?
Well, yeah, I guess so.
Did
yeah.
it for years previously. So
Yeah, the
Yeah,
fight
it was really
choreography
good.
was awesome. Using the force on like all the rocks and shit was
I,
really cool.
do you know the one thing I will take back? When he first used the force and he went like that, and I was like, he should have maybe gone like this because that's how he used to use it. I'm glad they saved that for when he did his stance of the over and the.
Yeah.
I'm glad they
I'll
saved
do
it
what
for
I
then.
must.
I'll be honest,
Yeah.
because as soon as he went from the fourth form over to whatever form it is, I was like, okay, here we go. This is
Yeah.
Kenobi now. So.
That was a nice little. That was one of those moments where, what was it? Just before they started fighting, they made the reference to episode 3, where they were like, where Obi-Wan says, "I will do what I must," and before that,
And then
Anakin
You
says
will
that
die.
You'll have to kill me, or like, you.
Yeah.
Then you'll die.
Yeah,
I was
instead
like,
of you will try, it's just you will die or something like that. It was pretty good. I liked it. I really
And then-
liked. I don't know. It's weird because the final episode was really, really strong, I think.
Really
and
strong.
I kind of feel like, I don't know. There were just a lot of weird, awkward moments throughout the series. But I think it had a lot of fantastic moments overall, I think.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it, really.
It was definitely better than the Book of Boba Fett. That is it.
I think those final episodes really brought it above Boba Fett.
I like Book of
No, I did too. I thought it was good. Like, I just thought the final two episodes had...
What did you think about Book of Boba Fett, Charlie?
Alright, the thing with Star Wars, I think we can basically sum it up as anything with cool lightsaber battles is always going to be above, right? That's basically it.
Because we're simple.
The problem comes with you can't base a story off of cool lightsaber battles, but
but you can.
I would, but you can, but you have to do it before the Clone Wars and Order 66.
Yeah,
because that's when it gets exciting. But in that point, I mean, fuck it, let's just break the canon. Who gives a fuck?
Who gives a toss?
Let's just set up some cool shit.
There was, the final episode. There was the lovely moments. You had like Qui-Gon, and then you had like him walk up and go, "Hello there." And that kind of stuff, cool. And it was that's the bit where I actively chuckled like out loud. I was like, I knew that was coming, but it was still great.
Yeah, he's gonna have it.
But then the previous episode,
the
bit that I actively went like, oh fuck off. I might have said this previously, I can't remember. But it's the bit where they're escaping from Darth Vader, and he's like holding them back on the ship, and the woman sacrifices herself, and she's like, "Let the Force be with you," or "May the Force be with you." I just sat there and I just went, "Oh fuck off! I don't care." Like,
that was a bit of an aggressive, like, this is a kid's.
This is like, we need to throw this line in at some point, and it's going to be her, and it's I don't care about your character, mate. Just...
that was very... if they took that out, it would have probably gone up half a rating overall for me.
I think maybe Ewan McGregor should have just said that to Leia as he was leaving. Maybe just say, "And may the Force be with you," and then it's just a nice send-off.
It does speak volumes, though, that the episode which everyone has almost... I think most people, I don't know about like everyone overall, obviously, but it seems like most people thought the last episode was great. And I think that's because that last episode was like 95% ObiWan Kenobi. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was actually about...
That's exactly what the series was. So something me and Charlie were talking about the other day was we have in this like podcast and recorded and stuff, we actively said, so we said our predictions for what would happen for the end of Obi-Wan. We said that there would be a big lightsaber fight between two Sith. It happened. Charlie made the prediction of we're gonna star like whatever the fuck her name is, third sister.
Reva.
She's gonna be good. She's gonna be the everything, and she'll be good.
Well, I didn't say she's
will
gonna
turn kind of thing, or she'll have an epiphany rather.
I said
you definitely said she'll have like a moment where she'll change, which happened.
That's true.
Like it happened, and then I think we've got pretty good at predicting stuff here.
We have. Or
so
Star
next
Wars
up, we're
so
predicting the
transparent.
Qatar World Cup. So feel free to bet.
I'm gonna put down. I'm putting down Belgium to win it.
Nah, Belgium always bottle it.
Yeah, I think they're winning it this time. I think Hazard's going to turn it on.
Thorgan.
Andy, your thoughts on it? Not the World Cup.
Belgium winning the World Cup. I thought it was good. I thought it was episode 5 and 6 definitely. It was the up trajectory, but then it was really good. But I thought, why can't they just make them all that good? Like I suppose it's difficult thing to do, but it was good. I enjoyed it. I'm excited to see season 2 if that comes out. I assume that will. But
I mean, you can't tease Qui-Gon that heavily, and then be like, because the whole Qui-Gon training thing is what he went off to do. So I think if they do a season 2, it will be him chatting to Qui-Gon, learning how to do this kind of thing, maybe helping people.
What would happen in the season 2? Because for me, that was Qui-Gon's thing. So the whole thing was he isn't there, he's not helping him, and now at the end of the arc, he's ready to be trained. He's
ready to learn.
And then he becomes Alec Guinness's character.
Yeah.
Right?
That's what we.
So I don't know
that's maybe that's season 2.
Season 2.
Because with season 2, he's still not Alec Guinness. He's still not at that stage in So maybe you have that progression from the end of this Obi-Wan season to being Alec Guinness.
But what would that story be? There's no story
He's
there.
fighting Darth
There
Maul.
isn't a story there you can tell with any sort of stakes. Is there?
He's killing Darth
Well, there
Maul.
wasn't stakes
That's
in
what
this
he does.
season either.
Darth Maul? yeah, I know exactly. That's what I'm saying. They repeat it.
Yeah, they'll just do the same thing
Yeah.
again if they do a second season.
Is Darth Maul canonically like? I mean, he's alive. I know
Yeah.
that, up until certain points, but is he still alive at that point? Like, can you make a story out of that? Can you do
Darth
that?
Maul's alive at that point.
Yeah, he's still kicking
In the
it.
Clone
I
Wars,
think.
he's alive at that point.
Will it break canon and will it upset a lot of people?
Well, no, that is gonna be a thing they'll do as a live action thing. That will happen. Like Darth Maul was in Solo. Like they wouldn't reintroduce that character to them.
Oh yeah, but like that's
then
true.
not have it
nothing
at all.
Nothing happened to that at all.
Well, that was because
It was
that's
like
just...
Solo was just like Darth Maul's here. Anyway, this
Okay,
is Rogue
bye.
One.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess it's
Yeah,
just
that's
not.
true.
That
I
was just
can't
to
actually
allude to the fact that
remember whether
definitely is
he-
alive.
Because there's a no. Because Alec Guinness's Obi-Wan officially kills Maul.
Yeah, he's older than the Ewan McGregor 10 years on.
So when he's
What-
when he's old Obi-Wan, he defeats Maul in Rebels.
Yeah, but I guess
Is he
that
sure?
probably won't be straight away. But there'll be something like Darth Maul is like the main enemy of Obi-Wan, aside from Darth Vader, for basically all of the, at least the Clone Wars and the Rebels series between the periods of the big films. So they're gonna do something with that, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's like
I don't know.
I don't know about this whole. Oh, we need to transition Ewan McGregor's character into Alec Guinness's, because it's like you guys do know these are like two different people, right? You're not going to get a smooth progression
No.
because they're two different people.
Well, that's it. It's
So,
not.
like,
It's not visually
asking
like.
for a series where Obi-Wan has grey hair and then that's the transition to Alec Guinness. That's just stupid. I don't
No,
like that. I don't
thi-
see how there's a story there. For
But
a
that's the
season
thing.
two.
I
see it.
don't really see the point in doing it either. But Disney like money. Obi-Wan made money. Money second series means more money, and then in between that time, he'll have to transition from being the Obi-Wan now to the Alec Guinness we see, or closer to it. So hence it will have to happen in some form if they do a season 2.
Yeah.
I mean, look. Let's put it this way.
I
So
wouldn't like
I
them
will
to do it, but
if I go off based off what I previously said, a season 2 with a now, I suppose, empowered Obi-Wan, and I know
and
some
good
people
third
won't.
sister.
Exactly, I was going to say that. Some people won't. I would like to see Reva back, because now we've got a baseline for her character. She's established. Now we can put her in, because it would make sense. And and this is a character that we can use, right? Like I said before, I don't particularly like how it was set up. I think you could have done it better. But the fact is, she's now an established character, so you can use her. And I would like to see her used, because I think there is more to do with Reva. So,
And I think the actress
you could have
herself
something
will
there.
do better with a good with a good character.
Yeah, exactly.
With a
So
kind of
maybe you could do
better-
that, but I don't know what the opposition would be, because they can't be anything too large scale, because that would catch the attention of the Emperor and Darth Vader. But so it's got to be something a bit more on the
Well,
down low.
Grand
but
Inquisitor's
I don't know.
back.
Well, the Grand Inquisitor.
Grand
is back,
Inquisitor's
but
the main villain, maybe.
they
And
can't kill him because it's canon
yeah,
that he's not dead.
again,
yet.
so then
So-
you've got the issue of you've got so many characters that there's no stakes to it. But again,
I'd like
that
to
didn't
see
fucking
something
bother them
completely-
doing this season, so why not, just...
I know, but if we're talking about making a good version,
Oh, absolutely. If they make a good version, they don't make it at all.
I still think which I mean, the
That's
season was
true.
okay.
That's true.
I thought it was alright, but if you need to have a villain who is posing a threat and can die,
And also the
Yeah.
heroes can die.
Which
fuck it, just
Obi-Wan
put in
can't.
Starkiller. Fuck it, put in Starkiller.
Yeah!
Yeah, I've seen that
That'd
a
be
lot.
cool.
That, like, the way that
Obi-Wan and
live
Reva
stream.
versus Starkiller, because I've got no idea who Starkiller is, right? Everyone's like, oh, he's so OP, he wipes the floor with like everybody. If Reva and Obi-Wan kill him, to me, that's fine. To like hardcore people, like this man, he will probably get salty.
For me,
Oh,
pointed-
Darth Vader kills Starkiller, but that's not a point.
It's
Yeah, but that's
And
that's
clones
whatever,
the
that's
shit
whatever.
out of him. Like, He just clones him
Wow,
and then like.
spoilers for season 2. What the fuck, bro?
Whoa, bro.
Nah, you know they love cloning in Star Wars. That's been long established.
Yeah.
I think
Cloning fools.
I don't know. Isn't there supposed to be like an Ahsoka Tano series coming?
Yeah, and an Andor.
They're coming later this year, I'm pretty sure.
Andor, I'm slightly more interested in,
Yeah.
purely because Ahsoka, I think, is mainly a character from the Clone Wars, which I haven't seen, and Rebels, which I haven't seen. So Ahsoka Tano, I don't really know. I'm interested in it, and once I've seen the Clone Wars, I'll probably be well up for it. But I don't really know too much about that. But Andor could be interesting because that doesn't seem to have any like main characters in it that
Well,
we've
it's got the
previously
guy
Well, other
seen.
than
who was
Andor.
in Andor, the guy who was in Rogue One,
Yeah.
who
The main guy in
Oh,
Rogue
he's in
One.
Rogue One.
Yeah,
was
he's
gonna
the
lead-
main
was
guy.
gonna
So
lead
it's
me to
about
my
him
next
and the
point,
start of
yeah.
his rebellion on his planet.
like, what I was going to say is, do you reckon
Oh, okay.
Disney and Star Wars will ever make a series without the main character being someone
something
we
else.
already know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wait,
yeah.
who's
They,
Andor then?
they won't.
Yeah,
I guess the
literally.
Mandalorian was that,
Very true. Yeah.
but then obviously now we know him.
Yeah.
Wait, which character is he in?
The main
Oh, is
man.
that one?
Maybe that's
Yeah.
why the Mandalorian was so good.
Yeah, exactly,
Because-
because we're discovering a new character. And also, the Mandalorian culture is only in Clone Wars. It's not really in anything else. So a lot of people
Yeah.
don't know about the whole like Mandalorian backstory and everything. So throwing that in gives basically 75% of the audience a completely new thing to learn about.
Yeah.
So 2 points here. So Andor could be interesting, but we already know what happens to the main character.
We already
Yeah.
know that no
In
matter what happens in
Rogue.
Andor, the main character will not die in it.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
they could kill everyone around him, but he's going to be okay for the whole
that could
series.
be- that could be alright. That could be alright.
Yeah.
That's an unexplored thing. That could be okay. I totally agree on the Mandalorian front because I did not know what Mandalorians were, right, at all before that series came out, and now I know a little bit more about it. I think it's important to look at stuff which hasn't already been on like the big screen.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I think we've already mentioned this, but I think that's the only way you're going to get a successful series is if you have basically cool shit with characters we haven't seen before.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But that's the
and
thing.
I
They
think-
keep going.
yeah.
They've gone, our films are set up like this. Let's go. So, for instance, this is me going, let's go after all those. And then we can explore things that
Yeah.
never happened before. And it's like, yeah, but what about just doing everything, stuff beforehand? You know, cool shit that happens hundreds of years before.
I think
Why
what
not
would be
just go
cool to
that
do
way?
is do a couple series on Jedi before Order
High Republic.
66. Yeah. And then you could have like definitely one series. If you did it twice, it'd be boring. But have it ending in Order 66. So things going really well,
Pretty cool.
and this Jedi doing okay, but having his own story. So he's got ups and downs and things like that. Or whoever. I said he. I don't really care what gender. Whoever it is, the Jedi, just having ups and downs and shit like that, and then it culminates in Order 66, and it sucks because you see it coming and you like the characters in it, and then Order 66 happens. That would be cool.
You could
I
do
would
it with
like that. That
individual
would be good.
Jedis as well. You could do like an episode
Yeah.
per Jedi. So you could do like Plo Koon or Plo Koon and
Yeah.
have him just like
Plo Koon, yeah.
just explode at the end of the episode in a plane. You can have a Ki-Adi-Mundi just getting mowed down by his own space marines.
again,
Like-
I don't think you should use those characters. I think you should use
Yeah.
Shakti, who has already died 3
Yeah.
times on screen.
Yeah, exactly. Just get stabbed 3 times in the episode.
She's literally died in 3 separate occasions on the big screen.
And all
It's
of them
just
have been
like, poor
deleted. Like
Shakti's got 9 lives and she keeps losing all of them.
reshoots on her life.
Have you seen that meme? I don't know who the Jedi is. The green one with like he's got the
Oh,
tentacles.
yeah.
Kit
And
Fisto.
it was like
Kit Fisto.
him, Kit Fisto in the Clone Wars, and
Just
Kit Fisto in Revenge of the Sith, and it was pictures of his face, and it's like the years were not kind to
Yeah.
Kit Fisto. And
He did a
looks
lot of underwater
completely
meth in that
different.
time.
He's like-
I've become obsessed with this type of meme format. I don't know why. Okay, but you know the famous "Hello there" scene, General Kenobi sort of thing.
no, I don't actually. What is that?
All right, go fuck yourself. No, but you seen the one where it's like General Grievous has too many lightsabers,
Yeah, it just keeps like,
like 15, and then disintegrates himself. So someone's made a load of like edits for those. So it's like
Yeah.
Anakin walking in, and all the younglings just have like General Grievous arms.
I
And it's
reached
it's
like peak internet the other day where I like found a meme that was hello there, and then it was the kid. It was like Luke, young Luke. Like,
exactly.
Ah, fuck.
And it's like this one of like Mace Windu and like Kit Fisto and like another couple of Jedi, and they've all just gone got the General Grievous arms as well. I was just like, what am I doing, man? I've watched like 5 of these.
And they keep getting funnier. Yeah.
My favorite one that I saw was it was a compilation of ObiWan Kenobi saying that blasters were uncivilized, and then him shooting a bunch of people in the Kenobi series. It's like
clearly loving it as well.
The kill count of it, all of him.
I really like
It's like there's like a clip in the Clone Wars, like the animated one, where he's like a clone trooper suggests shooting someone, and he goes, "I think I've got a more refined option," and then it cuts to Obi-Wan shooting someone in the head in Kenobi in the Kenobi series. It's like, oh.
I
switched his tune.
I'd like to think though that it's like some executive producer or something. It's just like, should we fire blasters? And everyone's like, I don't think anyone's going to care that much. Like, surely not. I don't think anyone comes out. Everyone on the internet is just straight away, hey, everyone, get the fires a blaster. It's just like, really?
They've made deep mistakes.
Hell no. Also, why isn't it that any of the like good guy Jedis do stop the bolts with their force?
Because that wasn't invented yet.
Literally,
it's one of those things that there's a lot of like lore things that are really weird. So for instance, everyone always says like, oh, why don't they just turn off their lightsaber and then turn it back on in them? It's because there's a thing where within the Jedi it's considered like unsportsmanlike during a lightsaber fight, and the Sith consider it cowardice. So that's why they don't. Right. So that's what they think. The Sith, you should, in the Sith mindset, you should be able to overpower someone with your raw skill and power. You shouldn't have to deceive them or cheat them because you are more powerful. You should show them that the Sith is more powerful. And in the Jedi form, it's just not nice. It's unsportsmanlike.
Yeah. Come on, guys!
Basically, their sources,
don't be doing
they
that.
made it the fuck up.
Yeah, literally,
Oh,
literally.
yeah, absolutely.
That's literally it.
Yeah.
That in itself you could also almost consider a plot hole, because it's like, nah.
Because like
sorry.
someone would just do that, wouldn't
If
they?
you're fighting and the galaxy is at stake, Obi-Wan's just turning off Anakin's lightsaber.
Yeah,
I'm
he's just
sorry,
going.
it's happening.
Like-
I don't care.
Yeah, and like, but then also they also play with that idea, because then obviously Kylo Ren chops Snoke in half
Yeah.
by doing that, basically. So it's like,
Yeah.
and then I suppose there are arguments for.
But that's where
all
it
of
comes
this.
into play of like how much of a cult both sides of them are, because every single person in that cult wouldn't do it, and they would never dare of doing it because they've just been
Star Wars fan cult.
Yeah,
Damn
because
right.
they've been indoctrinated since they were like 3 years old.
Yeah.
So that's
I
the
do-
only
I do
thought they
think-
have. Like,
I do think if you get to making a universe that's that big, right, you got like 50 bajillion planets and species, and you got all these things to remember. The Clone Wars was a throwaway line, which you now have to make up as an actual thing, and you got all this sort of stuff, and it comes down to like the pettiest of petty things. I think for the most
Literally.
part, when you're like writing, you just think, oh, I don't fucking care, just carry on. You know, it's just like,
why don't you just turn the lightsaber off? Oh, because it's not nice, is it? It'd be boring.
Yeah,
That's why
just fuck you. That's why.
I'd love to have a conversation with George Lucas and be like, right, I bring up like several things and be like, right, in the original 3, did you intend that this would lead to all of this? And see if he
wasn't
like
from the first. The first movie was supposed to be standalone.
yeah.
There's a shit
like-
heap of things that just like he never
Like that,
intended.
like I saw you see those like memes on like Twitter or Instagram where it's like it's like a little something they allude to something in The Empire Strikes Back that is then in the Clone Wars or something, and they're like, oh, this was George Lucas planned this the whole time. I'm like, I don't think he did. I think so. One of his writers, or maybe him, was like, you know what? Do you remember that thing we did like 2 movies ago? We should like make reference to that
we
again.
should bring
now.
that back. Like,
Yeah.
Nerds will love
it's the
that.
sort of thing where
Yeah.
some people were just like, oh, Rogue One sucks because they said they were Bothan spies, and it's just like, oh, no one cares, dude. Bothan's from the planet Botha. Like, who gives a fuck? Like, it doesn't matter. It's a
get
throwaway
over
line
it.
in episode 4. Who
Yeah,
cares?
I remember that was a thing with that was like before Rogue One was actually released.
Yeah.
People were like, this is not right. It's clearly not set on. I'm like, that film was made like 40 years before this film had even started filming. Like, of course they do.
So it was just like if you go back and watch the fight between
many Boffins
Vader and Obi-Wan in the fourth book, the fight's pretty crap. It's like, it's because it was in the 80s.
Yeah,
my God.
And also they didn't have the technology to track sabers properly. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Because I saw it was an interview. It's like with Mark Hamill, he was explaining how they did like the duel in the first one, and they literally used like cheap LED lights, and that was blue,
and then just like literally drew a line on top of it in every single film piece.
That's why they couldn't like swing their lightsaber at an angle more than like that, because it would just fall
and couldn't swing it towards the screen either, because if you swing it towards it, it distorts the light pattern of how thick and thin it needs to be. So
yeah, exactly.
Fucking hell, funny, innit?
I do think that's why like a lot of things are just like, sorry, we'll just twist it here and there and just make the story work, because I think there's so many things to keep track of.
Speaking about like visual effects and stuff, something that's come out recently that has always piqued my interest. The second Avatar trailer has come out, and it got a lot of backlash. Not a lot, but it got backlash because people were going, "This just looks like the first."
Yeah. Well, yes, it's the sequel. I think.
Yeah. It's like the first still looks incredible now. Like there's movies that came out like last year that look worse in like one frame of CGI that cost millions than Avatar did for the entire film. Like
yeah. Like I also just love that. Take the special effects out of it. I love the idea of someone going like, I watched part 1 of this series, and part 2 is very similar to part 1. It's like,
mate, that's kind of that's how series works. Like,
I could not believe in season 2 when that character turned up again
and looked the same.
Who would have thought?
But it was just like people were saying like, oh, they haven't updated the visual effects and all this, and it's like, because they were perfect last time, and also they have, but what more do you want? Like, they were absolutely stunning last time with no mistakes. So how much further do you want it to go?
It's got to be perfect, James.
Like,
it's got to be exactly the same.
It's got to be the way I wanted it to be.
Literally, like, yeah. And obviously the popular YouTube channel Corridor Digital did a review on it where they had a visual effects like guy come in, and obviously they do visual effects and stuff, and they were looking at the water in it, and all of them just sat there and were like, that is the best water simulation I have ever seen in my entire life. Meanwhile, there's a bloke in the comment who's never worked on a film in his life going, oh, it doesn't look right.
Andy would have loved to have drunk that water.
Oh, God, yeah.
Would have loved it.
So much water, man. The film's literally called, I think it's called like The Way of Water or something.
Is it actually?
Well, yeah, it is.
No,
yeah,
like,
it is.
it's like essentially an airbender and a waterbender now.
Dope. The two avatars combining.
That'd be a dope film. Imagine Jake Sully just.
That's
I'm gonna be honest, mate, I think that would be
Jake
ass.
Sully.
You need to shut your ass up.
I think it will be. I think it will be 50% of the people that will watch it will just go, "Oh, it's too long."
That's most films nowadays.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just a bit long, isn't it?
Have you speaking of films? Have you guys seen Hot Shots?
No.
Back shots.
Hot Shots. So the first one was like a piss take of what's the Tom Cruise one? In
Top Gun.
Plane. Top
Literally
Gun,
out
that's
right
the one.
now, the new one.
I've got a point about Top Gun 2
that's
after that we'll talk about, but we'll carry on for a minute.
And it started off as like a piss take of that, right? And it's kind of like you've both seen Airplane, I assume. I think I've showed both of you guys Airplane.
Yeah.
It's that sort of humour. And they did and there's another one which is Hot Shots 2, which takes the piss out of Rambo, and I highly recommend both of them because they're very good. The second one's got Rowan Atkinson in it as well, and there's just like just so you know the kind of humour sort of thing. It was just like he's like in a room, and they're like, why didn't you? He's been captured, and he's in like this thing, but it's not like a jail cell. It's just like a door. He's like, why didn't you escape? And he's just like, I can't move. They've tied my shoelaces together. It's like, bastards. It's just that sort of stupid humour like that. They're pretty good. I recommend.
I'll have to watch that. What was it? Hot Shots?
Yeah, but they're only like an hour and a half long, kind of thing. It got me thinking, because you were saying like the movies are like so long now. They're like 2 hours, 2.5 hours, and the older sort of films are like hour and a half, hour.
But it's joke after joke after joke. There's nothing in between. It is just
constant.
It's Charlie Sheen as well, I think. Charlie Sheen's
right,
like the main character. In
I might have seen clips of those actually.
You might have done. I think it was a pretty big thing. Like, I definitely seen some scenes in Hot Shots 2. Like, I was watching it and I was like, I've definitely seen that scene before, but I don't remember watching all of this before.
Probably the type of thing that you're like scrolling through Instagram. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Speaking of YouTube clips, I was gonna, as this is our 20th episode, I believe.
Indeed. Yeah.
I thought it'd be nice to just briefly reminisce. On some of our little favourite bits, maybe. Something cute. I mean, I think my favourite part so far of the podcast, and James did, this is kind of stolen from James, it's of course the Roy Keane one. It's the Roy Keane one.
Absolutely, yeah.
I thought it would be.
I've listened to that episode maybe 4 times.
I would change nothing.
It's my favourite part of that episode is when Charlie says it. Andy and my faces just light up. We're both just like, oh.
It's because we both realise that he doesn't realise what he's saying.
Oh yeah, no, I didn't. It was like 4 in the morning, and I had no clue what was going on. There was
Immediately
being generated in my head.
Immediately just kink shamed.
Oh, Roy.
I've got to back you on that one. I think that combined with the first one that we kind of did, the pasta tier list.
Yeah, pasta.
Going back and watching some of that, it's just some of those bits are really brilliant. Like, just
I love how irate we get.
Yeah, literally.
I like chatting to someone who watched it, and he was just like, "Yeah, it was good. The pasta tier list was good, although." Too silly is not fucking mid. Something like that. I don't know. It's just something along those lines.
Yeah, it's like exactly. It's not mid. Fuck off.
It's very polarizing.
I don't know. I just found it funny.
It is very polarizing.
Also, I did a bit of googling. So you know when I was talking about climbing the Gloucester tree.
No.
Like the pegs going all the way up.
Where he nearly died.
Yes, yeah.
Yes. I can't remember who it was. It might have been Andy. Asked if anyone had died on it. So I googled that. No, but 2 people got down and then had a heart attack. That's like
that's embarrassing.
Basically it. So no one's actually fallen from this tree. There's got no safety things on it at all. That's like, but that's been like it in the last like 50 years or so.
I think that's decent if you leave it up to just human error.
Little heads up.
Yeah.
Like, health and safety nowadays is people died from things in health and safety because they're like, oh no, fuck it, I could do that. It's telling you not to do something, so you want to go do it. Whereas that tree is just like, you can if you want.
Yeah, that one is more like, here's the giant tree, no balls.
Yeah. Like... Pussy.
Do it, little man.
What would you say your top moment is, Charlie? Which one of you enjoyed most, other than being king shamed by Roy Keane?
I don't think I've laughed as hard as the Roy Keane episode, to be honest. Yeah. That one was just like
that was good.
It's just funny.
There was one moment in that I kind of forgot was so funny when we were talking about like me versus an elephant.
Oh yeah, because when I was writing, because I didn't edit that episode, but I did write the description for that episode, and as I was listening to it again, I was like, wow, I forgot that we talk about elephants for like 20 minutes. like it's perhaps even more talked about than Roy Keane.
I think one thing we need to do as well for future episodes is like have post-it notes on our screen saying, don't talk about MCU, don't talk about Star Wars.
Don't talk about elephants and how you can kill them with fragile paper plates.
Just don't keep bringing up the same shit, because I swear we do all the time.
Oh, it's beautiful. I also, another personal favourite of mine, and one that still sticks with me, is the conspiracy theory one. Just all of it. Just the fact that we all buy into them. I love how all of the theories that we've looked at beforehand, even if before internally we're like, oh, this is bullshit, all of us really want to sell them.
Yeah, I love how much you sold the birds aren't real.
I believe it now.
I think one of my favourite bits is James getting really fucking salty about his thing not going to fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fair.
Dogged
so
out.
funny. It was just like, you're so angry. You're playing football with your mates in the rain, isn't it? But fuck this, man.
Yeah, and I get fucked.
He's so
bullshit.
angry. Nah, that's bullshit.
Nah,
It's
that's fucking
passion.
puss, man.
Beautiful.
No, I
Well,
agree.
hopefully, should we wrap up there? How long have we been recording for? Like an hour and
Hour and 20.
something.
Yeah.
Wrap up there, and also we will say, are we planning on doing something?
Yeah, so going forward,
some
we're
point.
kind of, we're going to get people in, do some kind of more themed episodes. We've done like Room 201, Room 102, that kind of thing. We'll do more of those kind of thing going forward. We'll also do these chatty ones because we love doing these ones. And then added on to that, we'll get a few people in, do a few kind of, we're not going to call them interviews. They're not interviews. They're
'Cause they're
us
not
chatting with our
important people.
mates.
Yeah.
Like, we're not going to get our mate in and be like, so where'd you grow up?
But
Yeah.
I am
It's like
prepping a list
4
of
doors down
questions.
from you, mate.
I know
Spent my entire childhood with you.
Yeah. Let's
So we'll
let's
just get people in, have a chat, change the
Yeah.
dynamic a little bit, and then we're going to get
Absolutely.
people in and do some themed episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck with them.
Yeah,
Beautiful. But
that'll
no,
be very good
that-
fun. Very good fun indeed.
That's pretty much it. for
Also,
today.
one final thing in true Earth Sandwich form, I put forward a topic of discussion in Messenger,
Oh yeah,
and we just didn't fucking talk.
we just
about
didn't talk about it.
it. I swear we do that a lot. Like
Yeah,
whenever
we
someone
do.
puts something that we should talk about this, we go, yeah, that's a good idea. Just never mention.
Just never
it
comes up. We
again.
go on a massive tangent and just never talk about any of it.
This stuff, this somehow, it seems we can make a tangent out of anything that leads directly into Star Wars again. I don't
Yeah.
know how.
It's
Yeah.
This
beautiful.
episode started with talking about Andy's cycling holiday in the Netherlands, which apparently he hated.
I love it.
Shit water,
Yeah.
shit country,
Shit water.
Dog water, mate. Dog water.
Shithole. Shithole.
shit up. Whole place because of the water. But yeah, thank you very much for listening. Thank you for joining
Yes.
us. Kind of for we're 20 in. We like doing this. We're going to keep doing this. So if you enjoy it,
Hopefully.
drop us a like, drop us a comment. Comment in this one. Oh, water's nice, but Amsterdam isn't.
Yeah. Borderline force your friends and family to listen to it.
Yeah.
That's it.
I wouldn't say
Yeah.
keep them hostage, but it
But
would
I'm
up
not,
our
but I'm not
views.
going to say
I'm
not
not
do
saying
that.
you can't.
Our views and listens will go up. So
5 stars. Thank you for watching. Au revoir.
Thanks very much.
we'll catch you all soon.
Tack. That's not thank you in Dutch, is it?
No, I don't know what it is.
No.
Dank? No, it's German.
And I don't know what it is, and you know what? I'm not going to look it up.
No,
Goodbye.
because we're British. Fuck off.